In this case, cut sets represents the rows of the column matrix, rows of the matrix. You see here, if we have the 3 cut set, we have the 3 rows. If we have the 4 cut set, we have the 4 rows. This cut set represents rows of the matrix, means C1, C2, C3, and C4. Is it right? As in case of the tie-set matrix. In case of the tie-set matrix, tie-sets are the rows of the matrix. Is it right? The branches represent the column of the matrix. This is almost same. This is almost same. Cut sets are the rows of the matrix and the branches are the column of the matrix. Now, look at the next. If the selected branch in the cut set has its direction same as the direction of the tree branch, then that entry is taken as a +1. If the direction of that cut set branches, if all are same, then it will be +1. If it is opposite to that of the tree branch, then it is -1. If it is same as the tree branch, then it is +1. And that set does not consist of particular branch, then its entry will be 0. Means in the matrix, we will make the entry as a +1 or -1 or 0. These are only 3 possible combinations. Is it right? If its entry is the same as, or its direction is same as the tree branch direction, then its entry will be +1. If it is opposite to the tree branch direction, then entry will be -1. If that set does not consist of that particular branch in the considered set, in that particular case, its entry will be 0. That is the definition. I will come back to this definition after this example. Now look at, try to understand this. What I have taken? This is selected graph. In this graph, this is 1 branch, 2nd branch, and this is 3rd branch. This is 3 branches. This is 1, 2, and 3. These are the 3 tree branches. Then how will be the cut sets? This is, I will take this branch. This is first cut set. I will take this branch. This is second cut set. I will take this tree branch. This is the 3rd cut set, or whatever the numbers. Here this is C1, I have named it as C2, I have named it as C3, I have named it as. Is how will be the structure of this matrix? Structure of this matrix will be, what are the rows of this matrix? Cut set. How many cut sets we have? 3. You see here, this is the cut set number 1. This is the cut set number 2. And this is the cut set number 3. And the name of this matrix is QF. Q stands for cut set. F stands for fundamental. Fundamental cut set matrix is standard, is the symbol is the standard, which is QF. And the column of this matrix are nothing but the branches. How many branches here we have? We have the 6 branches. Means it is branch number 1. This is the branch number 2. This is the branch number 3. Here is the branch number 4. This is the branch number 5. And last is the branch number 6. We have the 6 branches. That's why here will be the 6 columns. This concept is little clumsy. I will discuss clearly. Now in the cut set number 1, 2, 3, these 3 branches we are removing. Is it right? After removal of these 3 branches, how will be the graph or how will be the figure? That I will draw. First 1, 2, 3 and 4. If we are removing these 3 branches, its graph will be something like this. This is 1, this is 2nd, and this is 3rd. Is it right? No need to draw the figure every time. Just try to understand this concept. Is it right? Because we are removing 1, 2, 3. These 3 branches means remaining are 1, 2, 3. Its figure will be something like this. Now look at in this set, which is the tree branch. This branch number 5. And how is the direction of the branch number 5, which is forward? Means if I am taking this as a part X of the graph, this is part X and this is part Y. Its direction is from the X to Y. This part 1 to part 2. This is part 1 to part 2. If the direction is from the part 1 to part 2, which is same as the tree branch, otherwise if it is opposite, then that entry will be the minus. I will start the discussion now with this concept. Now look at the branch number 1, this branch. This branch is coming from this part to this, towards like this. This part 2 to part 1. It is opposite to that of this tree branch direction, because tree branch direction is from part X to part Y. Because this is our part X. Are you getting me? Because when we have removed those branches, the figure will be divided into the 2 parts. This is one part and this is the other part. Is it right? This is the other part. How is the direction of the tree branch? This part X to part Y. that entry will be taken as +1. Otherwise, if it is from the part to the part 1, which is same in the case of the branch number 1, that's why that entry is -1. This branch number 2 is not the part of this cut set, because cut set may 1, 5, 6 we have the branches, and we don't have the branch number 2, we don't have the branch number 3, we don't have the branch number 4. That's why those entries will be 0. How is the branch number 5? Branch number 5 itself is a tree branch. That's why its entry should be +1. Branch number 6. Now look at how is its direction. Its direction is from this part Y. I said direction is something like this. That is part Y towards part X. But original tree branch direction is from the X to Y. That's why that entry is again -1. Is it right? That is the first thing. Then I will come to the second cut set. This cut set I have taken it as second cut set, which is C2 here. This is second cut set. Is it right? Now, if I'm making these entries, how will be the entry for this branch number 1? 0, because this branch is not the part of this cut set. Its cut set में कौन से branches है? We have the branch number 3, branch number 4, and branch number 6 are the part of the cut set. Is it right? That's why 1 entry is 0, 2 entry is 0, because this branch also not the part of this cut set. Branch number 3. Now look at the branch number 3. This is the branch number 3. This branch number 3 itself is the tree branch. That's why it is +1. This branch number 4, it is similar to this because it is coming toward this. It is coming toward this. Means if we will remove these 3 branches, then how will be the graph? I will draw the graph first. Here the graph will be something like this. This is one part. I will call it as part X, and this is part Y. How is the tree branch direction? Tree branch direction is from this part 1 towards this part 2. अगर part 1 से part 2 की तरफ जा रहा, that entry will be the +1. This is +1. This is also same from the part 1 to the 2. This it is in this direction, part 1 to the 2. That's why its entry is again +1. For the branch number 5 is here, which is not the part of this cut set. That's why its entry is 0. Then branch number 6. How is the direction of the branch number 6? Which is something like this. Which is from the part 2 to the part 1, which is opposite to that of this direction. Opposite to that of this direction, which is from the part 1 to the 2. Is it right? That's why its entry is -1. That is about this entries of the fundamental cut set matrix. Finally, I will come back to this cut set number 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. I will draw the figure here because it is little difficult. In this case, this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is node A, B, C, and D. Now here in this case, this is one node, this is second node, this is third node, and this is the fourth node. Now which branches we are removing? We are removing 1, 2, 4, and 6. Means what are the remaining branches? Remaining branches are nothing but this branch number 5. This is branch number 5. And which is the remaining branch? Branch number 3. This is the branch number 3. Its direction is something like this. This is the branch number 5 and this is the branch number 3. And we are removing 1, 2, 4, 6. We are removing this 1, we are removing this 2, we are removing this 4, and we are removing this 6. This will be the figure. Now here in this set, which is the tree branch? Branch number 2 is the tree branch. This branch number is the tree branch. How is the direction of this branch number 2? Look at. If I am calling this as a part 1 of the graph, and if I am calling this as a part 2 of the graph, part 1 and part 2. Is it right? Now look at this direction. How is this direction? This direction is from the part 1 towards the part 2. That's why I will make the entry of this branch first, which is the branch number 2. Look at this entry, which is +1. Now I will come back to the branch number 1. How is the entry for the branch number 1? Now look at, in this set, this branch number 1 exists. In the C3, I am discussing about the C3. In this set, the branch number 1 is existing. But how is the direction of that branch number 1? Branch number direction is towards this point A. It is something like this. It is indirectly, its direction is from the part number 2 towards the part number 1, which is opposite to that of the branch number 2. That's why its entry is -1. If I'm coming to the next branch, which is the branch number 4, look at this is the branch number 4. Because branch 3, its entry is 0, branch number 4, I'm coming to this point. Now look at how is this direction of the branch number 4. Branch number 4's direction is something like this. How it is? It is from the part 1 to part 2. Part 1 to the part 2. It is same as this branch number 2, which is again part 1 to the part 2. That's why its entry is +1. Branch number 5 is not the part of this cut set. That's why its entry is 0. And finally, if I'm coming back to the branch number 6, now look at this branch number 6. How is the direction of this branch number 6? It is from this point to this point, that is point C to the point A. Means it is in this direction. It is in this direction. Means that is from the part number 2 towards the part number 1, which is opposite to that of this tree branch. Is tree branch के लिए कैसा है? For this branch number 2, it is from 1 to 2, part number 1 to the part number 2, but this direction is from the part number 2 towards the part number 1. That's why its entry is again, it is -1. And this is nothing but the preparation of the fundamental cut set matrix. This is the preparation of the fundamental cut set matrix. Is it right? I will come back to you. I will discuss your difficulties and then I will proceed further again. Yes, I will start with Chaya. Yes. Any difficulty in the understanding this procedure for preparation of the cut set matrix?
No, sir.
No. Ruchira?
Yes, sir. No difficulty.
No difficulty. Then Saurabh?
No difficulty, sir. I understood.
I understood. Okay, I will come back to the Naushad.
Yes, sir.
How is the, have you understood this concept?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, I will take one example related to this. That is the preparation of the cut set matrix. And then we will proceed further. इसके बाद हम आगे चलेंगे. Yes. You can mute. Yes, I will mute. Yeah. Yes. Now, if I'm coming back to the another example, look at this figure. What is this problem? Draw the cut set matrix for the network shown below. For this matrix or for this particular given figure, we want to prepare the cut set. Or cut set matrix. Now, how many nodes we have in this figure? This is one node. This is another node. And between these two nodes, we don't have anything. That's why these branches can be drawn. Something like this. That's why this is the third node. This is node A. This is node B. This is node C. Is it right? Then how will be its graph? This is 1, 2. This is 3. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. I will consider 3. It is not that particular node. This is the node A, this is node B, and this is the node C. Because between these two nodes we don't have anything, that's why I have taken it as a common node, that is node C. I will give the name to the branches. Its current is already upward, this is downward. I will name it as branch number 1. This is forward, I will name it as branch number 2. This is downward, I will name it as branch number 3. And it is also downward, I will name it as branch number 4. And current sources are replaced by its internal resistance, otherwise I will give it as branch number 5, but we will not consider this current source because it should be replaced by its internal resistance, and internal resistance of the current source is infinite. That's why we will not consider this. Between A and C we have one element, that's why this is one branch. Its direction is downward. What is the name to this branch? Branch number 1. This direction is downward. Between A and B we have another element. Between A and B we have another element, and its value is 2 ohm. I will consider it as lateral, and this is the branch number 2. Is it right? Between B and C we have another element, maybe the multiple elements. Its direction is downward. Its direction is downward. This is the branch number 3. At the same time, between B and C we have another element. That's why between the B and C we have another element, and this direction is downward again, and it is the branch number 4. This will be the graph or oriented graph. Is it right? What is our aim? Our aim is to prepare the cut set matrix. And for the preparation of the cut set matrix, we have to consider the tree first. This is the oriented graph. This is the step number 1, which is oriented graph. Oriented graph. Is it right? The second point is nothing but selection of a tree. We will select tree. How will be the tree? Now look at what is the formula for the number of tree branches. Number of tree branches is given by the formula n minus 1. What is the n? N is the number of nodes. How many nodes we have? 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. Means we should have 2 tree branches. Is it right? Means if I am drawing the figure here, select a tree. Select tree. I will select the tree. How is the figure? This is node A, node B, and this is the node C. In this case, I can select any tree. Means here we have to connect all the nodes to directly or indirectly without forming the loop. Means tree may be V-shaped, tree may be something like this, tree may be something like this. Is it right? I will consider this as a tree. It should connect all the nodes directly or indirectly without forming a loop. And number of branches, how many branches we have? 2. This is, we have the 2 branches. Is it right? This is our branch number 1. This is our branch number 1. This is our branch number 3. Is it right? And the remaining are the co-tree branches, which is nothing but I will draw. This is co-tree branch, which is the branch number 2. And this is another co-tree branch, which is nothing but the branch number 4. Its direction is downward. This is branch number 4. Now, we have to prepare the cut sets. How many cut sets will be there? The number of cut sets is equal to the number of tree branches. How many tree branches we have? 2. That's why here, cut sets will be the 2. I will start with the cut set number 1. And then we will take the cut set number 2. How will be the cut set number 1? For this first tree branch, because I have taken this as a tree, for this tree branch, I will take the cut set here. This is C1. I cannot take the cut set here because it is not the valid. Because if I am taking the cut set here, these 2 tree branches will be there. Or maybe it is 1, 2, 3. If we are removing 1, 2, 3, these 3 branches here by taking the cut set here, in that case, that set consists of 2 tree branches. That's why that is not a valid cut set. This here, branch number 1 and branch number 2 is the valid cut set. Otherwise, I will give the names to the nodes. Here it is node A, this is the node B, and this is the node C. Are you getting me? Cut set number 1, which is here. This is C1. This is cut set number 1. How is the cut set number 2? I will not take the cut set here. This will be the cut set number 2, C2. Because 1, 2, 3, its removal will divide the given graph into the 2 parts. And this set consists of only 1 tree branch. That's why branch number 2, branch number 3, and branch number 4 is another cut set. That is C2. This is another cut set. This here, selection of a tree and formation of the cut set. Formation of cut sets. Cut sets. We have prepared the cut sets. How many cut sets we have? 2 cut sets. If we have the cut sets, then we will prepare the fundamental cut set matrix, because these are the fundamental cut sets. Now, how many cut sets will be there? How many rows will be there? Only the 2. This is 1 row, C1. This is another row, C2. Because in the cut set matrix, rows of the matrix are nothing but the cut sets. And columns of the matrix are nothing but branches. How many branches we have for this given figure? We have 4 branches. Branch number 1, branch number 2, branch number 3, and branch number 4. These are the 4 columns we have for this particular matrix. Now we will prepare the entries. How will be the entries? Here, this is first row. This is first column, second column, third column, fourth column. I will make the entries. How will be the entries? I will start for the cut set number 1. This is branch number 1. Now look at, if we are removing these 2 branches, it will divide the given graph into the 2 parts. How are these 2 parts? That I will discuss. We have 1, 2 and 3 nodes. Is it right? We have the 3 nodes. This is my node A, this is node B, and this will be the node C. If we are removing these 2 branches, remaining part of the graph will be something like this. Remaining part of the graph is something like this. This is the branch number 3, and here this is the branch number 4. This is the remaining part of the graph. This is branch number 4. Miss, here in that case, this is the part 1 of the graph, and this complete is the part 2 of the graph, because it will divide into the 2 parts. This is part 1, this is part 2. Is it right? Now in this case, now look at the tree branch. Out of these 2, which is the tree branch? This branch number 1. How is the direction of that tree branch? From the part 1 towards the part 2. Part 1 to part 2. Means if the direction is from the part 1 to part 2, that will be taken as a positive. Opposite is the negative. Absence of the branch, that entry will be 0. Means what is the entry for the branch number 1? Entry for the branch number 1 is the +1, because branch number 1 itself is the tree branch in this cut set number 1. For the branch number 2, look at how is the direction. Its direction is from A to B. Its direction is from A to B. It's something like this. This indirectly, its direction is from the part number 1 to the part number 2. Part number 1 to the part number 2, and this tree branch direction is also from the part number 1 to the part number 2. That's why that entry will be again, it is +1. Is it right? Branch number 3 is not the part of the cut set, its entry will be 0. Branch number 4 is also not the part of the cut set, that's why its entry will be 0. It's +1, +1, 0, 0 entry for the row number 1, which is for the cut set number 1. If I am starting the discussion of the cut set number 2, this is our cut set number 2. If we are removing these 3 branches, how will be the graph, or how will be the figure? This is node 1, node 2, node 3. In this case, this is the node A, this is node B, this is the node C. If we are removing 1, 2, 3, these 3 branches, then remaining part of the graph will be something like this. Is it right? Because we are removing branch number 2, 3, 4. Just 1 is left there. This is the branch number 1. It will divide the given graph into the 2 parts. How are the 2 parts? This is one part. This is part number 1. And this is another part, which is part number 2. Now look at, out of these 2 parts, which is the tree branch in this cut set. In this cut set, branch number 3 is the tree branch. Branch number 3 is the tree branch. Look at how is the direction of this branch number 3. Its direction is from the B to C. Its direction is from B to C, means part number 2 to the part number 1. This is the direction of the tree branch. Is it right? In that case, if direction is from the part 2 to the part 1, that entry will be taken as the +1. Opposite is the -1. Absence of the branch, that entry will be 0. Now look at, I will start the discussion with the branch number 2. How is the direction of the branch number 2? Or I will start the discussion with the branch number 1. This branch number 1 is not the part of this cut set. That's why its entry will be 0. This entry is 0. For the branch number 2, how is the direction of the branch number 2? Branch number 2 is A to B. It is something like this, A to B. Means part 1 to the part 2. But how is the direction of this branch number 3, which is the tree branch, which is the part of this cut set? This 3. Its direction is from the 2 to 1. That's why this entry will be taken as a -1. -1 is entry for the branch number 2. For the branch number 3 itself is the tree branch. That's why its entry will be +1, because this is the entry, or this is the direction, which is from the B to C. This is from B to C, means part 2 to the part 1. That entry is +1 again. For the branch number 4, how is the direction? From B to C. Means B to C, its direction is from the B to C. This direction is same as this direction, which is the direction of this tree branch. That's why its entry is again +1. This is the preparation of fundamental cut set matrix. This is the fundamental cut set matrix.